as we go, but we're going to get started anyway. So we're going to start in a child's pose today. Big toes touching, knees nice and wide, and bring your forehead down towards the mat. Just take a couple of deep breaths here. Just checking in with how you're feeling physically today, emotionally. And notice if there's any tension, whether it's physical or emotional. And as you exhale, see if you can release something that isn't serving you right now. Feeling that expansion on the inhalation, and then a complete releasing and letting go on the exhale. Allowing your breath to be the only thing in your mind. And if you find your mind wandering off at any point through the practice, you can come back to this child's pose or just bring yourself back to your breath. On your next inhale, come up to all fours, tabletop. We'll take a few rounds of cat and cow. So as you inhale, drop the tummy, arch the back, bring the gaze up. And as you exhale, round the spine and bring the chin towards the chest. Inhale as you arch. And exhale as you round. Keep moving like this. Or add in any other sort of twist or turn here. Allowing your body to just move freely in whichever way feels good. Gently bring yourself to stillness. And we're going to take a toe stand from here. So tucking the toes under and sitting back on your heels. If it's a little bit intense, a little bit too much, if you don't have a block to place in between your seat bones and your heels, you can grab a cushion or a blanket or basically anything that's going to take a little bit of weight off the heels. If, like me, your baby toes aren't really involved, maybe you need to use your hands to involve them a little bit. And just sitting here, maybe close down the eyes and really tuning into your breath. Noticing what physical sensations are going on. And know that what we're doing here is we're stretching through the fascia tissue on the soles of the feet. And that fascia tissue is connected all the way up behind the hamstrings, the back line of the body. It actually comes all the way up to the back of the skull. So it may feel like quite a strange one that we're stretching the soles of our feet. But especially if you are quite tight in the hamstrings, you're going to feel this one after we've released it. You're going to feel a little bit more space in those hamstrings. Staying with it for a few more breaths. Maybe if I keep talking, it's going to keep your mind off the sensations that are going on. It's definitely working for me. Keep the upper half of the body relaxed. Last few breaths. And gently release the pose and just tap the tops of the feet on the mat. So a little bit like a drum roll, just tapping the tops of the feet. And from here, reach your right arm up towards the ceiling, open through the chest. Thread that arm through, coming down onto the shoulder, the cheek. Maybe reaching the left arm forwards here. So straight away we're moving our focus, our attention off the feet and into the shoulder. But you might still feel a few sensations in the soles of the feet, even though we're moving into stretching our shoulder now. Come back to center, tabletop, and we'll go on the other side. So reaching that left arm up, find an opening. Thread that arm through, coming down onto the shoulder, the cheek. And again, choosing if you keep your right hand where it is, or maybe walking it forwards, if you want to deepen the stretch slightly. And gently bring yourself back to center. Take an inhale through the nose. And as you exhale, take downward facing dog. Maybe pedal out the feet by bending one knee at a time. And press the hands down and forwards here. And as you do so, reach your tailbone up. So you really want to find length through the whole spine. Walk your feet to your hands. Take a ragdoll, opposite hand to opposite elbow. Just let your head hang heavy. Maybe a little sway side to side. Maybe a gentle bounce here. And feeling free to keep quite a generous bend in the knees if the hamstrings are tight. So if the lower back is tight. Release the hands and bring the feet together to touch so the big toes are touching. And on an inhale, moving slowly, slowly, roll yourself up to standing. Have your head as the last thing to lift. Reach your arms up overhead and then bring your hands together at heart center. Close down your eyes. And I invite you to set an intention or maybe a dedication for your practice today. Allow whatever thought that comes to your mind intuitively to just be the one that you stick with. Often when we get asked questions like this, lots and lots of things come up. But see if you can just stick with that first thought that came to your mind. Open the eyes. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold forwards. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Pull the tummy button in and up in your halfway lift. Fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, high plank. Drop your knees, untuck your toes, keeping your elbows close to your body, come all the way down. Open your chest, cobra, press the tops of the feet down. Push back through your knees, downward facing dog. And as always, in your down dog, just checking in with the foundation. So noticing the width of your hands, your feet. Make sure your hands are at least shoulder width apart and your feet are at least hip width apart. Walk your feet to your hands. Take a halfway lift. Fold forwards. Inhale, rise tall, reach up. Exhale, bow down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, high plank. You can choose if you drop your knees, come all the way down, or if you're ready for your full chaturanga, go ahead. Up dog or cobra. Downward facing dog. Go ahead. Up dog or cobra. Downward facing dog. So you can choose which variation of a vinyasa you take throughout the class, or you can skip it. So don't wait for me to cue it. You just listen to your body and do whatever your body feels is right. One more inhale. Exhale it all out. Either walk or lightly jump forwards. Halfway lift. Fold. Inhale, rise tall. Arms overhead. Exhale, bow forwards. Flat back. Low plank, either step or float back. Up dog or cobra, open the chest. Downward facing dog. Taking any sigh, any movement you need in your down dog. Soften knees, gaze forwards, either walk or lightly jump to your hands. Halfway lift, fold, chair pose, fold forwards. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, low plank. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Step your right foot forwards, warrior one. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, low plank. Up dog or cobra. Downward facing dog. Step your left foot forwards, warrior one. Inhale, rise. Exhale, low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. So we're moving with our breath. One breath, one movement. Notice if there's a pose you don't really like or you find a little bit more challenging, and if you try and rush through that pose. We really want to work on using the extent of each breath. Inhale fully. Exhale it all out. Feet to hands. Lift halfway. Fold. Chair pose. Fold forwards. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, low plank, maybe jumping back. Upward facing or cobra. Downward facing dog. Step your right foot forwards, warrior one. Low plank. Up dog. Warrior one. Low plank. Upward facing. Downward facing dog. Taking a couple of deep breaths in. Maybe noticing how your body feels now, what the energy is like in your body now. And always coming back to that sensation of clearing, of releasing on your exhale. Soften knees, gaze forwards. Maybe take a bounce in the knees. And then as lightly as you can, float to your hands. Halfway lift. Fold. Chair pose. Fold forwards. Lift halfway. Low plank. If you're jumping back, land with bent elbows. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Step your right foot forwards, warrior one. Low plank. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Left foot forwards, warrior one. Exhale, low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. I'm going to take one more sun salutation B today, and I really want you to notice where your eyes are going. So one of the pillars of our yoga practice is drishti, which is our gaze. And often we find ourselves looking all around the room, noticing noises, looking over to see what that noise might be. So I want you to challenge yourself for this next vinyasa to really keep your eyes focused to just a couple of spots. Notice where you're looking now, maybe between your shins. And each time you come back to your down dog, coming back to that exact same spot. One more inhale. And as you exhale, feet to hands. Lift halfway. Fold. Bend your knees, chair pose, fix your gaze. Exhale, fold. Inhale, gaze. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, low plank. Up dog or cobra, keep the eyes focused. Downward facing dog, back to that spot behind you. Right foot forwards, warrior one, rise up. Low plank. Almost drawing a line with your eyes as you move. Downward facing dog. Left side, warrior one. Think about that imaginary line with your eyes. Exhale, low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. So maybe that being one of the challenges you're working with in your practice today. Your drishti, really keeping that gaze focused. Especially when we're at home, there might be other things going on. But it's just allowing yourself these 60 minutes to really just be in your body. Bring your feet to touch behind you and lift your right leg up. Bend your knee and open up your hips. Really trying to stack the right hip on top of the left. Bring your knee to your nose. Kick it back. Bring your knee to your right elbow. Take it over to the left elbow. Back to the right. Over to the left. Back to the right, kick back. Bring your knee to your nose. Crescent lunge, rise up. Take a moment, find your balance. Warrior two, open out. Notice that gaze. If you started looking around the room again, focus over your front middle finger. Keep bending your front knee towards your baby toe. Flip your front palm and reverse. Extended side angle, forearm to your thigh, left arm up towards the ceiling. Before you take it any further, really rooting down with both feet here. Then options, to drop that right hand down. Take a half bind where you reach your left arm behind you, and you can sort of see my hand is coming through here. Or full bind, reaching the hands behind you. But in your full bind, try not to have, I'll show you this way around, try not to have your hands sort of here. You want to be underneath the knee. Keep breathing. Keep pressing down with both feet. If you're bound, I would like to try and take a reverse third of paradise with both feet. If you're bound, I would like to try and take a reverse third of paradise. Bring your gaze to your front foot and step your back foot in halfway. Have your gaze down and forward. Birds, make your way back down through an extended side angle. If you're bound, release your hands to the mat. Everyone, take a vinyasa or step straight to your downward facing dog. Feet to touch. Lift your left leg up. Bend your knee, open up your hips. Keep pressing the hands down and forwards as you try and lift that left knee a little bit higher. Bring your knee to your nose. Kick it back. Knee to left elbow. Take it over to the right elbow. Back to the left. Over to the right. Back to left, kick it back. Bring your knee to your nose. Crescent lunge, rise two. Find your breath and your balance. Warrior two, open out. Again, focus your gaze over the front middle fingers. Reach your fingertips away from each other. Flip your front palm and reverse. Go up and go back. Extended side angle, forearm to your thigh, right arm up. And you can choose, again, how far you take this pose. You can stay exactly where you are, focusing on grounding both feet down. You can drop the left hand down, take a half bind or a full bind. If you're fully bound and would like to take a bird, gaze down at your left foot and then step your back foot in halfway. My gaze is down and forwards in front of my left big toe, and then I start to shift my way forwards, lifting that right leg up. It's quite a hard one to do while I'm speaking. And last couple of breaths. If you're in a bird, make yourself Make your way back down through your extended side angle and release hands to the mat. Either take a vinyasa or step straight to your down. And let's take a couple of big sighs here in our downward facing dog. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Soften knees, gaze forwards, jump to your hands. Lift halfway. Fold. Chair pose. Really sit low in your chair. The shoulders feel tight. Feel free to cactus out the arms. Sink the hips lower. Bring your hands together at heart center. Inhale to find length. Exhale, twist towards your right, hooking the left elbow over the right thigh. Have a little look down at your knees. Make sure one isn't overshooting the other. Bring your gaze down towards your right foot and see if you can lift the left foot up. Moving slowly, step back to a twisted lunge. Might be a little bit wobbly, a little bit shaky, but keep pressing the palms into each other. Bring your gaze back down to that right foot. Step back to your twisted chair. Stay with it. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, fold forwards. Take a ragdoll, opposite hand, opposite elbow. Just let your head hang heavy. Release your hands. Bring your feet together to touch. Chair pose. And try not to stick your bum out here. So it's quite tempting to really sink into the lower back. We want to almost tuck the tailbone. So even bringing one hand onto your tummy and one hand onto your lower back. And think about rolling that down. So rather than that, you're rolling down. Reach the arms up. Hands together at heart center. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, twist towards your left this time. Checking in with the knees. Trying to have the hips low. Checking in with the knees. Trying to have the hips lower than the heart. Bring your gaze to your left foot. And see if you can lift that right foot up. Moving slowly, twisted lunge. Keep your right glute engaged. Gaze down, twisted chair. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, fold forwards. Separate your feet and slide the whole of the palm of the hand under the foot. So the toes are right up on your wrist creases. Take a halfway lift. Really bend the knees if you need to here. And then fold deeply over your legs. Let your head hang heavy. And let's take a horse's breath here. So in through the nose. And then as you exhale, flutter the lips. Do that again. Come back to your Ujjayi breath. Release your hands. And on an inhale, slowly, slowly roll up to standing. Have your head as the last thing to lift. Tree on the right, standing. Have your head as the last thing to lift. Tree on the right, sole of the right foot to the inside of the calf or the thigh. Hands together. Find your drishti, find your gaze. Keep your eyes focused on that one spot. Even if you feel like you're wobbling and out of control here, keep your eyes steady. Options to keep the hands where they are or open them up. You choose. And if you feel like today you really want to keep yourself centered, hands together, go ahead. Make sure you're breathing. See if you can keep your gaze focused to that same spot as you transition onto the other side. It's always tempting to look down at what you're doing, but you know where your foot is, you know where your thigh is or your calf is. Hands together at heart center. And let it be a challenge that no matter how much you want to look around the room, you're keeping your eyes focused. And then you choose if you keep your hands where they are or open them out. And even though we're focusing our attention on keeping the gaze steady, keep the rest of the body nice and soft. Maybe even a gentle smile in the face. And release. If you need to shake anything out, please do. Eagle pose. Right leg over left. Right arm under left. Make sure you're bending through the standing knee. Squeeze the thighs together. See if you can look through the arms, look past the arms, finding that spot. And release the pose. Shake anything out you need to. Step to the top of your mat. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold forwards. Halfway lift. Low plank. Up dog or cobra. Downward facing dog. Step your right foot forwards, warrior one. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, warrior two. Straighten your front leg. Reach forwards and down to triangle. If you have a block or something like a block, then you can place your hand, your bottom hand under do, because it helps most people find length. So often in your triangle, you dump your weight down, but what we're looking for is strength and straightness through the spine. On your next inhale, rise up to standing. And step your back foot in and out slightly. Bring your hands onto your hips and imagine they're like traffic lights and they're both pointing forward. So your feet are facing the same way. Back foot is slightly facing towards the top left corner of the mat. Grab opposite hand to opposite elbow. Inhale, open the chest. Exhale, fold forwards, pyramid. And have your gaze down towards your right shin or your right big toe. But try not to dump all the weight forward, so I'm still pressing down actively with my back foot. Inhale back up to standing. If you have a block, grab it. If you have a water bottle, a biscuit tin, anything like that that might work, grab it in your left hand. Reach your left arm up towards the ceiling. Maybe bring your right hand to your right hip. Reach forwards with the left hand and down. So we're coming into our twisted triangle. Right arm goes up towards the ceiling. And keep awareness on the hips here. So it's really easy for the hips to become wonky here. So maybe even bring your hand to your sacrum and check what's going on there. And then when you're ready, reach the right arm up. One more big inhale here. And as you exhale, both hands to the mat. Either take a vinyasa or step straight to your downward facing dog. Step your left foot forwards, warrior one. Warrior two. Triangle, straighten that front leg, reach forwards and down. Again, options to grab something to place underneath that left hand, if that feels right. But even if you have something underneath the hand, try not to dump the weight into that hand. So my hand is very light on my block. I'm opening the chest, almost rolling it up towards the ceiling. On an inhale, come back up to standing. Setting up for your pyramid pose, step your back foot in and out slightly. So both my hips are facing the front of the room. So I'm not to the side anymore, I'm facing forwards. Grab opposite hand to opposite elbow, and then notice which arm is on top, and see if you can reverse your grip. It feels a little bit weird, you might not know quite how to get there, but try and go the opposite way, moving out of your habits, your dominant arm. Inhale, open the chest. Exhale, fold forwards over that left leg. Inhale up to standing, taking your block or whatever you might be using with you. Reach that right arm up this time, left hand to left hip. And I'm sort of aiding that left hip back here. Inhale as you reach your right arm up. Exhale as you reach forwards and down, coming to your twisted triangle. So maybe starting with your hand on your sacrum, just notice what's going on here, what tilt is happening. Are you sinking into one leg? And then when you feel ready, once your spine feels nice and long, open out. Reach your left arm up towards the sky. This is quite an intense pose, so don't worry if you've got a lot going on. Just breathe into whatever sensations you have. Last big inhale. And as you exhale, both hands to the mat. Step back, high plank. Pausing in your high plank. Options to drop your knees or keep them lifted. But we're going to take a low plank, a high plank, down dog. Roll forwards to high plank. And really think about your shoulders. Don't let them dip lower than your elbows. Low plank, high plank, down dog. Roll yourself forwards to a high plank. Listen carefully. Low plank, upward facing dog. Knees are lifted off the mat. From my up dog, low plank, high plank, downward facing dog. Roll forwards to high plank. And as fast or as slow as you want, with or without your knees down, lower onto your mat. Bring one cheek down, arms alongside your body, and just enjoy a few moments of stillness. If you need to sigh, please do. Releasing any anxiety, any negativity on the exhalations. Negativity on the exhalations. Bring your forehead down, turn your palms so they face the floor, big toes touching, press the pelvis down, and then lift up, locust pose. So I'm reaching the fingertips back, reaching the toes back, as I reach the crown of my head forwards. And release, let go. Gently sway your hips from side to side. Maybe bring the opposite cheek down to even up the neck. And we're going to go again, palms down, toes to touch. Press the pelvis into the mat. Lift up. Stay lifted and reach back. Interlace your fingers behind you. Open the chest. Last few breaths, full expression of the pose. Can you lift a little bit higher? And release, let go. Sway the hips, releasing any tension. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders so your fingertips are just a little bit lower than your shoulders. Tuck your toes under, and we're going to lift up to a high plank. So visualize it before you try. You want to stay on one straight line. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, push. And you might need to watch a demo of this before you try it. I'm sure some of you have done this with me before, but what we're going to do is try and keep the hands on the floor. And switch legs. Switch, switch. We're going to go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. High plank. Push back, downward facing dog. Staying here for a couple of deep breaths. If you need a child's pose, please come down into your child's pose. If you're in child's pose, come back to your downward facing dog. And everyone, open your feet so they're as wide as your yoga mat. Bring your gaze in between your hands and take a bend in the knees. We're going to take a couple of little bunny hops here. So, gazing forwards, really pressing down with the fingertips, the knuckle pads. And you're going to take a little bounce and then just jump forwards. Trying to land as softly, not as hard as you can, as softly as you can. Step back, feet as wide as your mat. Soften knees, gaze forwards. As lightly, as slowly as you can, float to your hands. Step back, we're going to do 2 more. Feet nice and wide, soften knees, jump to your hands. Trying to pause the moment before you touch the floor. Last one, gaze forwards, bend your knees, jump to your hands. Come down onto your seats and make your way onto your back. Feet flat to the floor, hip width apart. Make sure you can just brush your heels with your fingertips and then press your feet down, lift your hips up. Options to interlace your fingers underneath you or press the upper arm bones down. Either way, you're sort of walking your shoulder blades further towards each other. Keep squeezing your glutes. And gently release the pose. Roll your spine along the mat. Sway your knees from side to side. We're just going to take one more back bend today, so you can choose either another bridge, or if you feel like wheel, go ahead and lift up. Last few breaths here for another 3, for 2, for 1. Roll your spine back along the mat. Take Supta Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet touching. One hand onto your heart, one hand onto your stomach. Feel the beating of your heart. And just notice what's going on for you physically now. Have there been any shifts, any changes since the start of class? Hug your knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a squeeze. Maybe a little rock from side to side, massaging the lower back. Grab the underneath of your thighs and take a couple of rock and roll backwards and forwards. You can take 1 or 2 or however many feel good. You can keep going for as long as you like. And when you've had enough, we're going to take a boat pose. So you can choose if you hold on to your thighs, if you flex your toes or point your toes, or if you open your arms up. Keep the shoulders nice and relaxed, the face nice and relaxed, maybe a little smile here. Keep the shoulders nice and relaxed. Maybe a little smile here. Options to stay where you are or take a low boat. High boat, low boat, high boat. Keep breathing. Low boat, high boat. Couple more, I think. Low boat, high boat. Last one, low boat, and hold it here for 5, 4, 3, 2, One, high boat, hug your knees in towards your chest. We're going to take a shoot back here, so go ahead and do it if it's in your practice. If not, and you want to give it a go, why not try it? Take a rock and roll. Cross the ankles over, hands flat to the floor, shoot back, landing with bent elbows. Maybe pause in your up dog, stretching out the core, squeezing the armpits in. Downward facing dog. Setting up for a half pigeon on the right, so right foot goes towards left wrist, dropping down onto that back leg. Maybe lifting the hands up just for a moment, just feeling your sort of positioning here, and then starting to fold forwards, either onto the forearms or all the way down onto the forehead. And our target muscle, our target area here is our right glute, our right hip. And if when we slow things down, it's hard for you to keep present, to keep focused, bring yourself back to the simplicity of thinking of each inhalation and each exhalation. Downward facing dog. Take any stretch, any movement to release the right leg here. And then when you're ready, you're going to step your left foot towards your right wrist, setting up for half pigeon on the left. Again, take a moment to just get yourself set up, maybe lifting both hands off the floor, check your hips are nice and level. And move forwards either onto your forearms or all the way down onto your forehead. Just keeping the upper half of your body as relaxed as possible. It's easy to start holding on to tension in other areas. Shift your weight onto your left hip. And we're going to take a frog pose from here. So some of you might be familiar with it, some of you might not, but we're really getting into our hips. For me, especially if you're on a hard floor, I'm on wood. I don't know what you guys are on at home, but I do this wherever I am because my knees are a little bit sensitive. I like to roll up both ends of my mat. If you don't have a yoga mat, if you're on carpet, it should be fine, or maybe grab a thinner cushion or a blanket just to put underneath your knees. And I'm going to open my knees out so you can kind of see what I'm doing. So my foot is sort of, the arch side of my foot is flat on the floor. And it's called frog pose, you can kind of see why. And open your knees out as wide as you can. And from here, trying to keep your hips in line with your knees, you're going to walk your forearms onto the floor. If it's available for you, bring your forehead all the way down onto the floor. Again, if you need a cushion or anything underneath your head, go ahead and grab it. And it's quite tempting to let the hips rock forwards, but you're really trying to keep the hips stacked over or in line with the knees. I'm going to stay here for a couple of minutes, maybe one more minute from now. And notice if you push yourself into your edge from the beginning, if it's just too much, you need to back off a little bit. But also if you haven't gone far enough and you think, oh, actually I've got a bit more space here, I can open my knees a little bit wider. And again, just body scanning, especially the upper half of your body. If you're holding on to tension anywhere that you can let go. And even though this can be quite an intense pose for most people, trying to find softness where you can. Last few moments here. If it's feeling really uncomfortable, just try and stay with it for a couple more breaths. And to release the pose, the easiest way for me is to sort of slide onto my tummy and then lift myself up. But if you have another method, please go ahead. If you've got a really strong sensation in your thighs, maybe just taking a moment to let it settle in. And unraveling your mat if you had it rolled up. And we're going to take a forward fold. So seat bones into the floor, moving any fleshy bits that might need to be moved. Flex the toes back towards you. Reach the arms up. And then lead with your chest, come to a forward fold. Maybe inhaling to lengthen. Exhaling to fold a little deeper. So inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Taking this gentle. Inhale back up to seated. And bend your right knee, so the sole of the right foot is flat on the floor, sort of on the inside of your thigh. And from here, we're going to take a little twist. So using your knee, we're going to start to twist open. So think about twisting towards the right, crown of the head lifts up. Right fingertips are lightly on the floor behind you. And try not to lean backwards, so we're lengthening as we twist. And coming back to center, taking a moment in a counter twist. So just placing both hands on the floor towards your left. And then releasing, and we're going to come onto the other side. So sole of the left foot to the inside of your right thigh. Start by, again, making sure you're nice and secure on both seat bones. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist towards your left this time. So I've got my left fingertips behind me, but I'm not leaning back into them. I'm lifting the crown of the head. And come back to center, going the other way. So placing both hands towards your right. And come back to center. We're going to take an inversion now. If you would like something restorative, feet up against the wall is a great option. If you're working on your headstand, we're going to be here for a few breaths, so go ahead and get yourself set up. Otherwise, shoulder stand. So whatever you like, but I'm going to demo a shoulder stand. So if you're going for a shoulder stand, keeping your feet over your head, setting up for a cow pose to begin with. So my toes are on the floor behind me, and I bring my hands to my lower back to find a nice secure position, and then lifting my feet up towards the ceiling. Try not to look around the room here. Staying for a few more deep breaths, allowing the flow of blood to just change direction. So good for our lymphatic system, our circulation. If you're in a headstand, make your way to a child's pose. Shoulder standers, start to bend your knees and bring them down towards your forehead or your ears. Shoulder standers, using your hands if you need to along your mat. Slowly, as breaks along the mat even, slowly and with control, roll out of the pose. So no crash landing. See how slowly you can move. And when everyone is ready, we will meet lying flat on our back, and we're going to take a fish pose. So hands underneath seat bones, lifting onto the forearms, opening the chest, and bringing the crown of the head onto the floor. You might need to move your hair out the way, like I always do, but you want the crown of your head actually touching the floor. And this is just a great pose for opening the chest, calming the nervous system, and clearing through our throat. Especially when we're stressed or anxious, our throat can feel quite tight. We can find it difficult to communicate what we actually want to say. And gently untucking the chin, release your hands, and hug your right knee in towards your chest for a supine twist. So let the right knee fall over to the left, right arm is towards the right, gaze towards the right. Keeping both shoulders relaxed on the floor. Decompressing our whole spine. We've worked hard today, so just enjoy the moments of winding down your practice. Come back through center and swap sides. Hug the left knee in, give it a squeeze. And then let your left knee fall over towards the right. Left arm opens out towards the left. Come back to center. And hug both knees in towards your chest. Bring your forehead up towards your knees. And maybe give each of your knees a little kiss. It might feel a little bit silly, but why not give yourself a bit of love tonight? Take a nice big inhale through the nose. Exhale out through the mouth. Let go. Release into your Shavasana. Final resting pose. Take a deep breath in through the nose and sigh it out the mouth. Bring some movement to your fingers and your toes. Reach your arms up overhead, take a full body stretch. Roll onto your right side into a fetal position. And with as little movement, as little effort as possible, come up to a seated or a kneeling position with your hands together at heart center and your eyes closed. Lift your thumb knuckles up to your third eye center, your eye of intuition. And together we bow forwards and say, Namaste.